people were asking us about our producer setups and what's an ideal producer setup for maybe like a starting or a new producer, or even a new artist. Because the equipment may be kind of the same in some cases.
I remember back in the days. Remember, it was like everything was all hardware. So,
oh yeah, like it was like when we say all hardware, like you had everything had to be a physical unit. Your mixer, a physical unit. Your recording device is a physical unit. It's just it was nuts. Keyboards, sound modules, you name it,
and it was expensive. The entry level for producer back in the days was expensive. Because you needed, if you needed a drum machine, a drum machine would cost you $35 to $5,000.
I think when we were starting, I think we were upwards of $15,000.
Yeah.
First getting in, and we're talking about the hardware. And then remember, we had 2 remote setups. We had one main setup, but then you had your satellite setup, and then so now we had to do it in duplicate.
Right. Right.
But let's talk about some of the things that folks need to use right now in today's age.
Well, nowadays, it's definitely much cheaper to have a producer setup. Of course, obviously you need a computer, but you need a computer that could run, will have enough, memory, storage to be able to have these applications and software on the computer. I like to just have it out as like a terabyte worth of memory on a computer. It could be an Apple, or it could be just a Windows-based computer. You obviously need a keyboard or a controller, to trigger sounds. You need the software. We use machine software. We use Fruity Loops. There's Ableton Live. There's Pro Tools. There's a lot of programs that can be used. It just comes down to what you feel comfortable with it, what has a easier maybe learning curve, and what works for you. What's easier to understand, because that's going to be key in be able to creating these beats and creating these songs and in a quick fashion, because you want a high turnaround rate. You're going to need a good set of studio monitors to listen to.
And when we say monitors, we mean like in the back, like you see speakers.
Like speakers.
So for folks who say, we refer to those as reference monitors or studio monitors for those who may be not so used to the jargon.
Right. So the studio monitors specifically are like flat response, meaning that there's no added hype. There's no added extra. A lot of like regular speakers out the factory. They make them with extra things to make the music sound better. It's EQ'd already, and you don't want that when you're in a studio setting. You want a honest, straight feedback of what the recording actually sounds like, so that you can actually do your mixes and EQing. And the theory is, if you can mix and make a record sound good on these type of monitors, they'll sound good anywhere pretty much. So you need a good set of reference monitors. What else, Jug?
We already said we need a decent computer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Monitors. You're going to need a very good what we call audio interface, right?
Right.
And the audio interface will basically be what you'll be able to connect your monitors to, and basically the bridge from your computer to your monitors.
Right.
Some folks might try to use the internal sound card, but the internal sound card on a lot of computers won't produce the high fidelity that you'll need to be able to hear in order for you to be able to create music that's going to be commercially sound. So a lot of folks, they will opt to get a audio interface. Also, the audio interfaces for you to be able to plug in instruments or external microphones, etc., to get the signal into your computer.
Right.
So that's very important to get an interface. On this particular talk, we won't recommend any particular brands. We just say folks to really just kind of do your research in terms of which ones that you get good ratings on Amazon, etc., that you can use. What's the other thing? Well, actually, no. Let me reverse course on that, because we do have an equipment list that we do carry. That I'll probably put that inside of the description of the video. So there is an equipment list of some stuff that we use that I've compiled. So it's not a endorsement by any stretch, but it's just stuff that we use. So between the computer, between the studio reference monitors or speakers, talking about the audio interface, most folks will opt to get a MIDI playback device. Either that would be a drum machine, keyboard controller, a keyboard controller with pads, and probably the last thing would be a microphone.
Right.
If you're a person that wants to do audio references, etc., some people like to kind of beatbox their music in and then build from there. I think Ableton has features that you can beatbox stuff into and turn that into MIDI, and that tends to be a new feature that folks are using a lot more these days. But some reference headphones maybe.
Right.
But that seems to be the setup of today, which is basically computer, monitors, interface, microphone, keyboard controller or MIDI controller,
and just software.
And software, right? And the software of your choice. And if you have those things, we're talking about what? Depending on the type of computer you buy, right? You can probably get something on a low end, maybe $500, right?
Right.
That would have the capacity to run something like an FL Studio or something like a machine. If you buy a small controller and those other things and an interface, I mean, you probably can get up and running anywhere between $1,500 and $2,000.
Right. Yeah.
That's like dramatically different from what it was when we started, right?
Right.
When we started, we were talking about 10 times that amount.